The game has changed. Crypto is now in the forefront of conversation in the US, with Trump now going pro-crypto. Biden has passed a bill. CBDCs are going in the opposite direction, which is amazing. And the Ethereum ETF has been approved. What a week in crypto it has been. I thought I'd jump on. I've got my Bitcoin mug. I'm max bullish at the moment, and I think there's some really good plays and narratives driving the market in the back half of this year, which I want to share with you today to give you an update on my portfolio strategy, how I'm maximizing the fundamental news, and in my opinion, where the market has not repriced in, where these things have happened over the last week or two, and how it's going to play out in the back half of 2024. So I think there's some really good opportunities which I want to share, and fundamentally, so strong, this messaging coming out of the US, which I want to share with you today. But thanks so much for jumping on. My name is Ben. I'm the founder of Collective Shift. I've been doing crypto research for 8 years. We have 1,000 clients globally. We work with some of the major exchanges here in Australia, and I've recently started doing YouTube content. So I'd love for you to leave me a subscribe if you like these videos and you want more. But really keen to dive in and share with you today some of those assets I'm looking at, some of the narratives to help you really take the most out of this bull market, which I'm so pumped about what's going on. So first of all, Trump going pro-crypto. This is a massive change of events. If we go back, a year or two ago, if you pull out some of the tweets from Donald Trump's been talking about, he was very negative crypto, very anti-crypto. I mean, a lot of the politicians, the government have been anti-crypto, but I think they've started to realize that crypto isn't going anywhere. And actually, they can win more voters if they go on the side of crypto versus against it. So Trump came out in a press conference recently and spoke about how he'll keep Elizabeth Warren and her goons away from our Bitcoin, and he will never allow the creation of a central bank digital currency. Now, I could go and talk about CBDCs on forever. I do not like them. I do not like the idea of a government-controlled, backed, owned central bank digital currency, especially with the direction we're going with no cash. So the fact that he's gone that way is amazing. I think also if Donald Trump gets elected, we'll see ya to Gary Gensler and the SEC folks that have been super headfirst at trying to defeat crypto and get in and all these lawsuits and, all these Wells notices and everything going on that's really been a headwind for innovation and, price action, especially across some of the sectors like Defi, which I'm a big fan of. So Elizabeth Warren as well is super anti-crypto. There's just a lot of political movement towards being pro-crypto now, which is super fascinating to see. And also after the ETH ETF got approved. To think only a week ago, we're about a 7% likelihood. We're sitting about 3,000, 2,900 ETH price, and now that has been approved with the political pressure that's been put on the SEC. Absolutely massive. And what this really goes to show is that it's pushing Ethereum down the route of more of a commodities asset rather than a security, which is really, really positive to help innovation. It's definitely not out of the woodworks yet, but continues to see innovation. And I think what we'll see is a similar price action to Bitcoin once the ETH ETF gets approved and we start to get those inflows. Maybe we get a bit of a sell the news event when it does get launched in the next 2 or 3 months. But I think those steady inflows and the supply and demand economics of Ethereum are so positive. I mean, we've got nearly 30% of Ethereum staked. We've got a deflationary supply mechanism with the burns. So much amazing stuff going on with Ethereum. And it's been my best risk to reward play this year. And if you've been following me for a little while, and if you're a member of Collective Shift, you would have seen my post on that, which I'll share in a second. But the other thing I really want to mention really quickly, which kind of slipped under the radar, which was the House in the US passed a crypto bill to really push and try and reinforce the United States as a leader in the digital asset space. So they basically said that the administration is eager to work with Congress to ensure a comprehensive and balanced regulatory framework for digital assets, which is really big. They have not been speaking about crypto in this way ever, basically, and now they've really switched their gear and want to be more pro-crypto, which is really, really positive. And Adam Cochran put it really, really clearly here about this isn't just about an ETF or one vote. This is an entire change in messaging and strategy, and he cannot begin to tell how big of a deal this is. While Warren might continue to fight, the White House has just been given other Democrats a pass to now support crypto and blockchain innovation and has backed off on blocking via authority. So the war isn't over, but a major victory in shifting of alliances. And after decades of indecision, confusion, and chilling effects, blockchains in America will finally be open for business, which is amazing and great for us as investors because it basically allows more innovation, better tokenomics, and better regulatory clarity, which markets need for prices to grow. And I'm a big fan of DeFi. I think DeFi has been really suppressed because of this government oversight and regulation. I think we're going to get some really clear air, which is awesome as well. So some really good investments I'm shaping up. One thing that I wanted to just touch on here was just to bring this all together as to why I think the market's underpriced in this. So we had this was just in the last week. We had the surprise approval of the ETH ETF, the FIT 21 passing, which was that bill I just spoke about, the anti-CBDC bill passing, Biden administration now eager to work with Congress to ensure this balanced regulatory framework, Trump now going pro-crypto and basically stating if he gets elected, he will ensure the future of crypto and the future of Bitcoin will be made in the USA. That's what he said. He will support the right to self-custody. Like, guys, this is mind-boggling. Support the right to self-custody. A year ago, the government's everyone was talking about how they wanted to ban it completely. It's a Ponzi economics. It's used for criminals. And now they're going, well, Trump is basically saying he's going to be supporting the right to support your own self-custody, taking that Bitcoin and owning it yourself, getting that money out and owning your own wealth and freedom. Amazing. Keeping Elizabeth Warren and goons away from Bitcoin. Brilliant. And the commute sentence for Ross Ulbricht. So it's just a whole game change shift. And I think the fact that most of the market is sitting under all-time highs and year-to-date highs is absolutely mind-boggling. Like, I think this is one of the biggest repricing that's going to happen over the back half of this year and some narratives that I'm jumping on to help me grow my portfolio. The other thing I want to mention is the BTC ETF inflows have increased as of May. We're starting to get that positivity back in the market. April was quite a dull lull period, but May's starting to pick up, which is brilliant. Now, if you're a Collective Shift member or you didn't see this, Ethereum has been my best risk to return play of 2024. I've been buying ETH since $80. When Vitalik came to Sydney back in, I don't know when it was like 6 or 7 years ago, he came to Sydney for a conference. And I remember at the conference, Ethereum sitting at $80. And the number one question that he was asked when we were, around meeting him was that when was ETH going to $100, right? And we're currently priced like, $3,900 a time of recording. I made a pretty big investment about March 26th. Ethereum was around $3,100. These pullbacks in bull markets are pristine times to buy. So I was sitting around here, I think. Where were we? Yeah, 3,100. These bull markets are perfect times to buy, right? So what have we done? Yeah, 25% in a couple of months. Now, nothing game changing, but I think Ethereum is going to continue to lead the market in altcoins in the back half of this year. And it's important to note that my edge and the edge that's made me the money that I have, and we use a Collective Shift for our members, is a mix of fundamental, on-chain, and sentiment analysis. Technical analysis can help you directionally of a market, but fundamentally, if you can overlay good fundamentals with a shift in sentiment, i.e. when you get strong fundamentals and sentiment goes bearish, they are usually good times to buy in. And that particularly happens in multiple times in a bull market. In the last bull market we had 13 10% plus corrections. This time, I think we already had 5 or 6. Those corrections are usually great times for entry. So a couple of months ago, we were looking at things like the Dan Kun upgrade going really well. L2, volumes continuing to increase in terms of TVL. The ETH supply strain as we're getting more supply being burnt. At the time, staked ETH was at increased by 66%. It was at 25% of the entire supply was being staked. It's now at 30%. And we're getting those institutional adoptions and potentially the ETH ETF. So that was for me fundamentally super strong, while the fear was at lows not seen since last year, right? So that's a great counter trade. Again, the confidence I'm seeing on Ethereum right now, the ETH exchange balances are at 6-year lows. Wild. So we're starting to get more and more people buy Ethereum because of what's going on. And I think this is where the narrative is going to stay for the foreseeable future. So how am I playing that? Well, I own a bunch of Ethereum. I still own Solana. I think Solana's a good beta play, but for me, I think Ethereum is going to continue to perform at the back half of this year. I think it's still a good buy, considering it's under all-time highs, and even yearly highs we had when we had 4,100. When was this? This was just early March, right? So we're still, where are we? We're still probably like 20% off. We're still about 10-15% off from. Oh, no, only 5%. Yeah, 5-10% off on yearly highs previously, which is super fascinating because I think this is where the market is not priced in, these fundamental changes in the market. And I think altcoins are going to perform well on Ethereum off the back of ETH performing well. So For me, DeFi, I'm really heavily positioned in DeFi. Maple for me is a project that I've been investing in for a little while. Got in about $5.50, and I mean, recently it hit about $30. It's had a bit of a pullback since sort of March, but Maple's been one that again continuing to be excited about. They've got great tokenomics. They're building on the RWA's narrative, and one that I've just been bullish for a little while, continuing to find themselves pushing through competition where most of the other competitors in the DeFi space, died in the bear market. I think their team and their product development has been super bullish, and hopefully their tokenomics will continue to increase as the SEC regulatory oversight gets eased. Layer 2s are an interesting one. We've seen at all-time high in terms of Layer 2 TVL on Ethereum. I think this will start to perform really well. I think Layer 2s have just generally underperformed over the last 6 months or 12 months. So I'm hoping in the back half of this year, as ETH continues to grow, we get more Layer 2 TVL growth. I think the price of the assets will continue to perform well as well, or they'll start to perform well in the back half of this year. And the other one is an interesting one, which is political memes. So Politify is an interesting one. This is, seemingly an obvious play. Like I started to think, was this a little bit too obvious, the Biden Trump coins? But I genuinely think that as we lead into the election, this will be a good buy the rumor, sell the news play. I haven't bought either of these two just yet, but I am considering a play probably more on Trump. And also recently the VanEck market vector, they started a meme coin index. I think this whole idea of tokenizing culture coins, as you can call them, continue to perform really well. And I think retail investors like narratives. They like the idea of being able to return a lot of money. I think things like Pepe, I think things like maybe PopCat, Doc with Hat. I think these sorts of like bigger, larger cap meme coins or culture coins will continue to perform well, especially in a retail bull market. We're definitely nowhere near a retail hype that we've seen in previous cycles, and I do think some of these coins can perform really well in the heat of those cycles. But ultimately, for me, using these coins is just a way to build my ETH and BTC stack, because they can plummet really quickly. And we've seen recently celebrity coins like the Jenner coin that came out. These coins, I was seeing a tweet this morning about the returns on some of these more high risk celebrity coins are very, very volatile. So you do need to be careful. This is one of the charts that one of the tables I posted this morning. Basically, the celebrity token ROI chart. Most of these are down 100%, 91%. So with these memes, you do need to be careful. I'm not saying these politified tokens are as crazy as some of these celebrity coins, but they can play a part in a portfolio. You just need to be careful that they are super volatile. Only allocate a small percent, and think about these altcoin allocations as a way to grow your overall exposure to a high risk sector. And then for me, it's selling these down and pushing them into BTC and ETH. So when I do my portfolio analysis, I'm looking at not only what asset, but what blockchain they're on. And that sort of gives me an understanding of how much exposure I have to each asset class. Now, DMT is another narrative in the layer 3 space. So again, I think this is going to perform really well. I spoke about DMT, I think it was about 2 or 3 months ago now. DMT is building it's on layer 3. It's building like a Web3 version of Twitch. So I posted this about 3 months ago. I think it was back in the start of March. It was around $55. Hit 175 recently. Performing really well. Again, one of these projects that has strong fundamentals, continuing to drive adoption. The Sanko game itself, more consumers, more creators, I think, and ultimately the layer 3 category is just quite, in terms of Sanko and DMT itself, is quite undervalued against the other layer 3s. There's not too many layer 3s out there right now, but if I look at the layer 3 space, I think this will start to be repriced pretty soon as well. Sorry, anyway, we'll move on from that. But yeah, there's about 5 or 6, I think, layer 3s at the moment, and I think DMT will continue to perform pretty well. Jupiter and Maker, I'm super bullish on Maker. Maker is just a workhorse. It's been around for a long time in the crypto space. Bullish on that. I think the tokenomic upgrades that it's going through is going to perform really well. Jupiter as well, super bullish on that. I think that whole like Solana version of MetaMask, I think is a great narrative. And as long as Solana continues to perform, which I think will follow ETH, I think Jupiter will perform well as well. And then Pendle, if you're looking for more of a DeFi project, also building on that RWA's narrative, I think Pendle continues to perform really well. We spoke about this in February 2023 when Pendle was, I think, about 5 cents. This has been one of our best performers that we shared to our members. Crazy returns. Obviously, it's not going to have as much of a risk to reward play as a year ago. So yeah, we spoke about this a year ago when I think Matt, our head of research, shared this at about 5 cents in January. And then it's way more than 25x. It's probably around 50x at the moment. But I think Pendle is another one on the RWA's play. So again, I think anything like RWA's, Layer 2's, DeFi on Ethereum are going to perform really well. Obviously, you've still got gaming, which I'm exposed to. I think AI as well. The intersection of AI and gaming is an interesting run. Prime for me is one that we've recently invested in, which I think is an interesting one to take a look at. The sort of intersection of AI and gaming is definitely one to look at. So yeah, this builds a sort of NFTs and trading card games, and I just think they're just good narratives to be exposed to. And again, my ultimate goal here is to build my altcoin stack in the back half of this cycle, have good, strong fundamental plays, build my stack and hold, and then start to sell down as we get near the peak. Now, where is that peak going to be? Ultimately, it's super hard to tell. I think potentially we could continue pushing right through into next year, perhaps, into sort of mid to late next year. And maybe do we have a Pico top at, sort of before Christmas next year? Reason I say that is usually we get quite a strong run up at the back end of a calendar year. I think we do get that this year, but still, I think there's a lot of BTC ETF inflows from major institutions. I think the retail are a little bit slower to arrive this time around just because we haven't really broken through those all-time highs. So I think we're going to get a good push at the back end of this year, but perhaps it's a more prolonged bull market and we don't really see the ultimate Pico highs until sort of late next year. Who knows? We'll see. We'll continue to report on that and provide our analysis. But again, mindset for me is remaining patient, not getting too caught up in chasing coins. I think at this part of the cycle, when maybe you're not returning as much in your portfolio as you would have hoped, you're starting to get a bit frustrated. You're thinking, shit, I should be buying more. I'm not getting the right coins. You start to overthink things. Some of our members I speak to, a new platinum member of ours just recently signed up, 25 million in crypto. He's made a couple of really good strategic bets, moving things into Solana, and backing that narrative. He's been very patient. He's not over trading. He's just, waiting it out. I think that's a great lesson in some of what the bigger investors are doing. Remain patient, buy good assets, and they're not chasing things. I think for a lot of people that are maybe thinking that they're not making enough, or they're getting a bit frustrated around their investments, start to chase, and that's where you can start to get chopped out and ultimately miss out on those opportunities. So for me, mindset, staying patient, had that exit plan in order. How are you taking profits? If you need help on that, we do help you with your exit strategy. You can book a strategy call with one of our head of member success team, and they'll help you with your strategy. It's a free session. We can kind of go through your goals, go through your challenges, go through your objectives, help create that exit plan for you, and then ultimately we can show you how some of our research can help you return in this cycle, and how we've helped about 1,000 other members that we're currently working with. So if you need help with that exit strategy, or you want a little bit more insights around portfolio allocation, or you want to get some insights from me where I do live sessions, you can click on the link in the bio below in our description. Book a one-on-one strategy session, completely no obligation. If it's not for you, amazing. If it is, I'm really keen to help you out. And as I said, we've helped a lot of busy investors like you. So hopefully that's been helpful, guys. Very bullish week in crypto, super exciting. Go crypto. Go ETH ETF, and hopefully you can drive some of those narratives and really get maximum exposure on your portfolio in the back half of this year. Hopefully that's been helpful, guys. I'll see you on the next video.